is mole enchiladas or mole poblano. I'm starting off adding a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I'm going to lightly fry my corn tortillas, about a minute on each side, not too hard, not too soft, just right. Now I'm going to set them to the side. I still have a little oil left on the pan, so I'm going to continue using this oil and add another 4 tortillas on the pan. Lightly fry each side again for a minute. Flip it over. Now you can use a spatula, tongs, or even your hand, but just be very careful because when you fry corn tortillas or any tortillas for that matter, they can tear and break easily. So you'll see me interchangeably using, both utensils and hands. Now I'm going to add another tablespoon of olive oil and continue to do the same thing and fry my tortillas. My tortillas are now done and they are all set to the side and ready to be dipped in some mole. Let me tell you a little bit about Dona Maria. This is mole sauce, typically referred to as mole poblano outside of Mexico. So in the US, we just refer to it as mole poblano or mole. And this is actually the glass when the mole is all used up and consumed. Isn't this beautiful? So when you walk into your family or friend's house and you see a glass like this, you know for sure they're using Dona Maria. So this is actually how the mole looks. Be very careful because it is hard to open, and not only that, it is so messy. All right, now for the best part, I'm using about 4 ounces of mole. That's a little less than half of a Dona Maria jar. 3 cups of chicken broth or 3 cups of water with 3 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. So now I'm just stirring the mole. I'm gonna do this for about 15 minutes or so on medium-high heat because I want my broth to have a gravy-like texture. This type of mole is typically made out of nuts, fruits, spices, and some say it tastes like chocolate, but not exactly. So I added 2 tablets of Mexican chocolate, and this will mellow out the spiciness to the mole because if you're just using mole sauce in general, then it's going to be a little bit more spicy than normal, and you want to add a little sweetness to it to even out the flavor, so it has more of a subtle taste. All right, my mole is just about done. It should look something like this, a little gravy-like texture. It's semi-sweet with some mild spice. It's okay if you see tiny chunks or specks. This will dissolve as it cools down and as I place it in the oven. Now that my mole is done, I'm going to turn it off and let it cool. Okay, so now I have my cooled off mole, my tortillas, a whole bunch of Mexican shredded cheese or fiesta blend, and a serving tray to roll up my enchiladas and place to the side. So now I'm going to grab a tortilla, I'm going to dip and soak it a little bit in the mole sauce. And I'm going to place this on my cutting board or a plate. And I'm going to add a whole bunch of cheese to the tortilla, and I'm just going to roll it up like you would a burrito. Just like this. Remember, it gets really messy. And then I'm going to take it and set it to the side on a serving tray, and I'm going to do this for the rest of the tortillas. All right, now I'm going to get messy. I'm going to take a tortilla and dip it in the mole sauce. Again, if you were to use utensils, your enchiladas and tortillas can break. And this is actually what happened to me, but you can't really see it just because it's covered with cheese and smothered in mole sauce. I'm stuffing it with cheese. You can also use shredded chicken. Typically, mole poblano is served with chicken, but I prefer it with just cheese. And then I'm going to sprinkle some cheese on top. So now I'm layering the enchiladas with more mole sauce. I'm actually going to smother the enchiladas with more mole. And this gives the enchiladas a better presentation, more texture, more flavor. Overall, a better taste that I feel that my family and friends tend to enjoy more. Now I'm adding another layer of cheese. So it's going to be very cheesy, a lot of mole on top. The tortillas are just perfect. They're not too crispy, not too soft. This is how it looks inside. And I'm going to place this in the oven on 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 minutes until the cheese is fairly melted. All right, 5 minutes is up, and this is how the cheese should look. You can have it a little bit more melted if you decide to, but it is so good, ready to be served. You can pair this with a side of salad, rice and beans, or eat it as is. Spread a little sour cream on top. But this is mole enchiladas, or mole poblano, or mole in general. I hope you enjoy this dish as much as my family and I do. Follow me on Instagram at Reese's Recipes for more easy, simple, and delicious recipes. Thanks for watching, friends. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Many blessings.